Today's indictment is a dramatic fall for a man who was once one of the most respected men in the business of entertainment, of course. Explain Diddy's impact in the world of entertainment. Let's get that out of the way first.
Well, let's just remember a year ago, he received the key to the city of New York. That tells you how important he is as a son of New York. But he was always looked at as a hit maker, one of the big producers and moguls in this business. And then when he built his business with Ciroc Vodka, working with Adagio, and also owning a television channel in Revolt, he was looked at as more than just a music business person, but as a media mogul. And that is what is stunning about all this, because this media empire that he created was created in many ways with force, a culture of fear, according to these documents, kidnapping, coercion. There are so many things when you read these documents that blow your mind about what was going on behind the scenes at Combs Enterprise.
What's Hollywood saying about him, and what have they been saying about it?
You know, what's up, you guys? Welcome back. Just Simply Sports here. Now, I like to just kind of keep it with sports on my YouTube channel, but there's just so many things going on that I feel like I would be doing myself a disservice if I did not speak about it, because I do have my opinions. I will start with what Kevin Frazier is saying about who Diddy was to our culture. Like, and I feel like that's where we go wrong. I feel like so many times we idolize celebrities, right? You know, they make all this money, they have the fancy cars, they have the beautiful women, they have the handsome men, they have the men taking care of them. You know, they get to fly wherever. They have the Hermes bags and the Chanel purses and all these different fancy things and the nice shoes and the nice wigs, and they go to all the nice parties and award shows, and we see it on Instagram and on YouTube and TikTok, and we're like, oh my God, oh, I would love to be like him. I would love to be like her. And how many women, when Cassie was dating Diddy, she was like on another level. I remember when she shaved her head and the whole head, no side was shaved. Everybody was doing that style. Everybody wanted to look like Cassie. And it's crazy how she was setting trends and she was going through what she was going through at the same time, at least according to her and what, the documents are showing. Obviously, I don't know them personally. I'm just going by, obviously we saw in that video and what was in the in the suit. But we have to stop, because they're still people. And you never know what's going on behind closed doors. Just because they are billionaires and trillionaires and so and things like that doesn't mean that they're not up to things, or they're good people. Putting it just out there. Being a millionaire doesn't make you a good person. It means that you're successful, but how did you get your success? How are you staying successful? Is it on the backs of others? Are you cheating people? Things of that nature. I'm gonna play some more, but I wanted to respond to that.
About him over the last few months since Homeland Security raided his homes in both Los Angeles and Miami.
Underneath it all, people in Hollywood, there were whispers. People knew things. They talked about things before the lawsuits came out, but no one was ever willing to step up. Remember Harvey Weinstein? There were whispers. Was talk about these things that were going on, but no one would ever step up. And then people saw the Cassie lawsuit and that video. And the video was so damning that everyone has been like hands off. Prosecutors are saying that they have a plethora of video on hand. Throughout this investigation, they have gathered a lot of video showing the different things that he has done that have led to these charges.
I'm wondering, when you see, or
You guys, I am someone who's a free thinker, right? I don't just follow what everybody else is saying or what they're thinking. Now, we know that they confiscated over 1,000 bottles of lubricant and baby oil, and they have, all this footage and hard drives and tape, and I'm thinking to myself, and this is just me, my opinion, my thoughts. Who else is on those videos? Because if these freak offs went on sometimes for days, and they happen so often, who else was there? It's not much of a freak off if it's just Diddy participating. He's only one person. I'm wondering who else is on these videos. How many more celebrities, people that we idolize and look up to, participate in something like this? Because if he does have a sex trafficking ring, and again, I don't know this to be true right now. He's being charged with it, but he hasn't been convicted. He's not even on trial yet. Which is why I'm saying, allegedly, because he hasn't been convicted, and I don't want to be sued. But as of right now, this is all, what we're reading, what we're hearing, from the prosecution, what we're reading online, and the court cases, the documents. If you have anybody who has a drug cartel, um, a brothel, sex trafficking, you have to have lots and lots and lots of help to do that. Remember, he was the family man. He was the man who was take that, right? And dancing and doing Harlem Shake in the videos. If you were there, right? And how did he have time to do all that and still lead a sex trafficking ring and all these freakos without help? I'm not saying he wasn't a part of it. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying who else was a part of it. That's what I want to know. I said the same thing about R. Kelly. If he had a long history, according to what they were saying, of dating underage girls, excuse me. Only he went down for it though. But when you are a celebrity and you have an entourage, there are people in your entourage who are complicit, who also, you know, help. And I'm just wondering why those people are never also brought to justice. Why is it always just the face, the celebrity, so to speak, and then everybody else just seems like they get away with it? I'm just curious about that. I'm gonna play some more, you guys. Those are just my thoughts.
What kind of intel can you provide us as it pertains to possible involvement of anybody else, or is this all about Diddy?
Sure. If you look at the case, and they brought RICO charges, they're federal RICO charges. And the reason they did that is so they can include the entire Combs Enterprises organization. That means the people who aided and abetted him now are also liable and could be brought into this lawsuit. There have been
Okay, you guys, so I guess I jumped ahead because now they're talking about what I was just saying. So sometimes patience is a virtue, right? Just relax and just watch the video, let it play out.
lots of interviews with lots of people. And so there's an expectation that either people will testify against him or they will also be charged down the road. And then people have been very vocal about some of the things they saw, like Dawn Richards saying that she sat at a table with a very high powered music executive and other entertainers and watched as Diddy punched Cassie in the face. And then they went about their meeting. Dawn Richards says that she was held hostage by Diddy in the back of a Bentley. And she had to call her father to drive into New York City to make sure she was okay. So there are all these charges. And remember, 10 lawsuits, the not the criminal lawsuits, but the other individual lawsuits that also stand right now against Diddy.
When I think about these charges, it says sex trafficking, racketeering charges, etc. They're clearly after more than just him. When did this all begin, Kevin? It's one thing to hear the noise.
That is the $1 million question for me. Where did this all begin? Because I don't believe that it started solely when Cassie sued Diddy for the money. That's when it was brought to light to the public. But for me, it just happened a little bit too fast. And I feel like there were things, I don't know this to be true. Again, don't sue me. These are just my thoughts I'm sharing with you guys. I feel like the domino effect and the way it happens, it just spiraled out of control right after she sued him. They settled it like less than 24 hours later, and it was quiet. It was mute. To me, I was like, this is really strange. I mean, I don't know in the history of lawsuits, has anyone settled out of court that fast? And I said, there must be some skeletons there that he does not want to, to come up. But I think because of everything that happened after, like if you look at the video, she described that incident, what happened with Diddy, to a T, right? To a T. He comes out, he apologizes, right? I'm not sorry, no, he didn't apologize first. First he said she was a liar, right? And then the video comes out. I feel like I feel like those things were put in motion to later set him up for where he is now. And I don't want, I'm not saying set up, I mean to be able to arrest him and indict him on charges. Because it just feels like it felt a little bit too perfectly aligned for me with the way everything's happening and how it just keeps spiraling and adding on and adding on. I feel like they have been working on this. Somebody, and I don't know, he made somebody mad in his own camp, or if, I don't know if Cassie did. I don't know who did. I don't know who spoke to who or what happened. Again, these are just my thoughts. They're not fact. I'm just talking to you guys, right? I feel like something happened or some things happened prior to Cassie suing Diddy. And I feel like once she did that, it just opened up the floodgates. But I feel like Homeland Security, the feds have been secretly working on building a case against Diddy for a while, and we just didn't know about it. Again, those are my thoughts, my opinions. I don't know it to be a fact.
He went to New York to turn himself in to show that I am not a flight risk. I'm around. So he plans on fighting this. He has to fight. But
I don't know if you guys saw his lawyer, when he was speaking to the press. He said that they knew that an indictment was coming, an arrest was coming soon, right? So, which is why Diddy was here in New York. He got here, I believe his lawyer said September 5th, and he wanted to turn himself in. But the prosecution denied him, the right to turn himself in. I guess they wanted to obviously arrest him on their own time, according to the lawyer. If they allowed him to turn himself in, then it would have been harder for them to deny his bail, because how can you call someone a flight risk if they are turning themselves in, they're giving you their passports and so on and so forth, right? And I feel bad for his kids. I know they're not kids, they're grown, but this is someone who seemingly, outside looking in, was a great father to them. And in spite of the freak offs and what kind of, freaky stuff he was into, it doesn't take away from the fact that he was still their father, that he was present, he raised them, he loved them. They know that side of him. They don't know, um, I don't know if they know, but I'm going to say, I'm going to have good faith and say they don't know about that side of him. So to have all the cameras in your face, he has daughters who I think going to college, or should be in college right now, and to have everybody, constantly questioning you or looking at you sideways, asking questions, leaving comments, sliding your DMs, it's a lot. It's a lot to take in. But yeah, those are some of my thoughts, you guys. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking right now. Play the rest of the video.
But when they say sex trafficking, see, that's the kind of stuff that resonate with these freak off parties and stuff like that. In terms of those kind of details, what are people in Hollywood saying about that? Are they saying this happens all the time? It's par for the course, or was it a Diddy specialty that finally got exposed?
A Diddy special.
Steve, I mean, let's go back to Jeffrey Epstein and all the things that went on with him and the Hollywood names that were involved. And then you go to Harvey Weinstein, and this is what drove the Me Too movement. These things, when you have people who have a power dynamic to wave that over other people's dreams of success and the fear of losing that success once you're put into the machine and that you are forced and coerced to do things against your will, to hold women and force them to have sex with male sex workers while you work is a different level of depravity. And you have to look at this and stop for a second and say, how could a person build something like that? How could a person have something like that? And it's because of the power dynamic to hold people's dreams in your hand. People wanted to be successful. They wanted to be stars. And when you want to be a star, sometimes you'll do any damn thing to be a star.
I feel like we are in the day and age of 2024, 2025, and it's only going to continue to grow, if you ask me, where we are so fascinated by the celebrity lifestyle, right? Because, earlier on in 2000s, we didn't have all this inside information to really see how celebrities were living, how they were traveling. And now that we have it, I feel like it's opened up the floodgates and people are willing to cut off their arms, so to speak, to live that lifestyle. And if you are someone like a Diddy, and you have that kind of power, you can leverage it over someone who is younger, naive, or just desperate, or really hungry, just really wants to be successful so bad. I don't, like, again, I'm not I'm not condemning Demi. I'm not condemning Diddy. Don't get me wrong. I'm just speaking about our obsession with celebrities, our need to follow them on Instagram and slide in their DMs, and you have women who are at the hotel rooms, all kinds of different things when they go to different states. I feel like we as people, men and women, we gotta dial it back a little bit. We gotta dial back the fascination with celebrities because they are still people. At the end of the day, they just obviously have a lot more money than most of us, but they're still people. And I feel like if you are a celebrity, you have you have to have, I think, a strong foundation. I always say that because I think you're going to be tested. I think you're going to be hit with things, and when it happens, you got to be strong enough to say, I'm not going to do that, and walk away and be okay if that A-list, actress career doesn't come for you the way you want it. You don't get the Grammy that you wanted. I think you have to be okay that this is not going to work for me, and be able to live with yourself as opposed to selling your soul, so to speak, so that you can become successful and then trying to cope with it, by just dealing with the drugs and abuse so that you don't have to go back to, the hood where you grew up, or the trailer park where you grew up, or, sleeping outside on a park bench. You know what I mean? That's all my thoughts so far, you guys, for this whole Diddy thing. This is so much of a whirlwind. I think back as a younger kid, right? Like, I'm from Brooklyn, right? I remember my cousin playing, all about the Benjamins. I still know every word to that song, and I just think about all the times I was singing all the songs and jamming to Diddy, and it's just like, wow, it just baffles me that we saw him, dancing and rapping, and then behind closed doors, so they say anyway. Again, I don't know this to be true, so don't sue me. Um, he was living a completely different lifestyle. I'm just curious what you guys think. Let me know in those comments. I'll see you in the next video.